But not on your page.
See
Let me see.
the world in action, what we can be. Life with no
it is.
distractions, we'll get away. This is what we waited for.
Yeah,
Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free with me. Let's be free Not looking back, eyes on the freeway, Bonnie and Clyde, a classic cliche. We're on the run, this is what we waited for. Take my hand, we'll make it somehow. We can't miss out. I'm done living life with the lights out. Die with my own doubts. Be free.
Okay, hey Tim. I think we got most of the
Hello,
bugs
Dave.
worked out. So anyway,
Right.
just want to welcome to the what we'll call the Creative Connection live stream chat, where we're looking to focus on connections and discuss everything creative around photography. So let me introduce Tim Swart, who's from Northern Ireland. And Tim and I have known each other since, I don't know what, 2014?
Yeah,
About 6 years or something like that. Yeah.
Sounds right.
We've gone a couple of places in Europe and shot with a couple of different groups. Tim has been, the last 4 years, shooting down in Italy at the Carnival of Venice. And today what we'd like to do is just kind of have an open session with Tim to talk about his experience and his photography in general. Tim, would you like to go over what your bio is?
Well, pretty much, I'm a retired forensic investigator for the South African Police. That's where I originated from. I did that for 16 years. Prior to that, I was obviously in school, and there I did the school photography, so sports photography and what other photography stuff they needed.
Mm-hmm.
So that got me into the darkroom, black and white development, that kind of stuff, all with film back in the day. Joined the police, did forensic investigation there for 16 years, and which was a fairly uncreative process. It was, flash and film and off you go. You couldn't change anything for obvious reasons. Then I left the police and we moved over to Northern Ireland. And it was in that period after we arrived here that I kind of started becoming more creative in my kind of work. So I'm blessed to live on a fantastic coastline of Northern Ireland up here in Portrush. So there's a picture just about around every corner. We've got a couple of nice castles. We're home to Game of Thrones. So you've got all the Game of Thrones locations. So pretty much, yeah, I do a bit of everything. Landscapes, portraiture, architecture. Then over this whole period of us sitting at home doing nothing, I've been doing a bit of food photography. I generally like to shoot a bit of everything. I don't have, it's not my business per se, so I'm not making money from photography, so I like to shoot a lot of stuff. Keeps my creative juices going. And it challenges me too to kind of think of other stuff to do. And that's pretty much it in a nutshell.
Well, I know that I've seen some of your images that you shot around the dark hedges over there. That seems to be a nice area.
Yeah, it's a special place. That the trees are over 300 years old.
Wow.
It used to be a guy's driveway to his house back in the day.
Oh, really?
Back then it was a stated thing to have this avenue of trees leading towards your house. It was like a show of status that you've got a bit of money, wealth, that kind of thing.
Okay.
And then, it was a beautiful place. It still is. But prior to Game of Thrones, it was pretty much kept secret. Not secret-wise, but no one really knew about it. Game of Thrones came along and it just exploded. And it's done it a fair bit of damage in terms of the road structure and the edges of the road and the trees. But it's a fantastic place. Very busy at times. So they're trying to keep the traffic away from there now. But it's a fantastic place to shoot.
Yeah, I think that happens a lot of times. You get an area and it becomes popular, and next thing you know, there's a lot of people there, and it kind of spoils it somewhat. But that would be an interesting place, especially when it's a low light with a little fog coming through there.
Oh yeah, it's when you get a bit of mist coming through the trees, it's magical. And then add to the mist, you get a bit of sunlight coming through. It just kicks it right up the park. So it's very popular. So ideally, the best time to see it is at stupid o'clock, really early in the morning, when most of the tourists are sleeping.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's a really great place to be. If you ever come to Northern Ireland, that's one of the places you should see. And if you're a photographer, it's something you need to see early in the morning.
Well, that's on our list, is to get over there. Maybe Carl and I can make a trip over and hang out in your bed and breakfast for a while. Take a few
awesome
trips.
place. You know, there's so many locations here. As I suppose you get with a lot of places.
Yeah.
They've got locations that are quite special. But you know, we're very rural, so we don't have, our closest city is Belfast. Up here, but it's extremely rural, so you don't have any city life. So all you got is seascapes and kind of countryside.
Yeah, that sounds good to me. So about the Venice Carnival, you started doing that about what, 4 years ago?
Yeah, I started doing it 4 years ago. And why I started shooting the carnival was, it relates back to the dark edges again. I was there one early morning to go and shoot. I was hoping for some fog. Anyway, get there and there's a couple of other photographers. Two of these photographers were from Australia, but they did weddings in Tokyo. So we had a bit of a chat, took some pictures, exchanged details, and kept in contact. Out of the blue, they posted this picture from Venice. And I looked at this picture and I thought, what the hell? Blew my mind completely. And the very next year, I had booked my trip to Venice. I kind of got my dates a little bit wrong, so I arrived a week too early. But which is great in hindsight, because it allowed me to do landscape photography and then shoot a bit of the carnival. And pretty much hooked from there. And now I go back every year.
Well, I know that over those 4 years, I've been watching your photography and some of the little video clips that you've done over there, and you've really intrigued me on that. And one of these days, I'd like to get over there and shoot right alongside you with it. A little bit of what kind of gear are you using these days?
Well, I've always used Sony. You know, I've never owned Minolta. I've never owned Nikon or Canon or anything like that. I started off with Minolta back in the film days. And then when Sony bought over Minolta, I stuck with him. Purely because I had all the lenses and things like that. And then stuck with Sony. And then, you know, evolution came and we're now with mirrorless. So I shoot the Sony A7R series. I've got the 2 and the 3 with a multitude of lenses. The 24-70. The 85, the new 200 to 600, and I've got the new Sigma 40 to 24. That's kind of the bulk of my lenses that I shoot with.
As far as your overall photography and all, whose work has influenced you the most?
Well, in terms of landscape photography, it can only be Elia Lacardi. His work is pretty clean and crisp, and pretty much it's not too altered in terms of, you know, going to Photoshop and things like that. I just like the way he does his imaging. So he would be on the landscape side of things, it would be him. And then kind of portrait side of things, it'll be Mr. Jared Platt. And I've always liked his work.
Oh, yeah.
I love the way, you know, he does mostly weddings, but he does portraiture and a couple of other things. I just like the way he does his portraiture, and he's always been an inspiration for me.
Well, I have to agree with you on that. Actually, Jared, we were communicating earlier in the week. He was wanting to be on the live stream, but he had a trip planned, so he was going to watch the recording of it. So we give him a shout out here.
Yeah, I mean that's how we met. We did a workshop with him in Barcelona,
right?
And yeah, that was awesome, man. It was just great stuff to be out early in the morning and shoot the whole day. And you know, part of it was going for some great dinners and things like that. And then a lot of the people that I've met there, I'm still in contact with, so which is great.
Yeah, we can't beat that. That was a fun time out there roaming the streets of Barcelona with a couple of models and Jared, and I think Clay Blackmore was there too, which Clay and I were communicating. He was wanting to see this too. I don't know that he was able to get on, but I'm sure he'll take a look at the recording once everything's said and done.
Yeah,
Okay,
the funny
so
thing is, I've been back to Barcelona about 5 or 6 times now.
oh, have you?
That was my first time. Yeah, it's my other favorite city to go visit.
Yeah, I'd have to say that's a beautiful city, and I think of all the ones that I've been through in Europe, it's a place where I can probably find myself living there if I had to live out of
Yeah,
the States.
it's a truly stunning city.
Yeah,
It's just beautiful, big and sporadic, and it's beautiful.
yeah. Why don't we transition into some of your images here, and we'll display these. I'll kind of scroll through them a little bit, and you'll be in a picture, so you can describe what we're seeing. Hang on, let me get your audio going here. Okay.
Okay. So the models come in all shapes and sizes, and costumes vary dramatically. So, we get in contact with them, and we ask them to meet us somewhere. And places like this with beautiful arches. So these are known as little cloisters. The arches go all the way around. You've got this little courtyard in the middle. So you've got infinite possibilities to shoot the models, in these little cloisters. So what's really important for me in images like this is the symmetry. To try and get everything kind of lined up and vanishing points and things like that. It's just to make the overall image look great, and symmetry's got to be nice. So down at San Marcos Square, you've got it's quite a big square if you haven't seen it before, and then just on the off side of the square you've got these rows of pillars with a walkway in between, and these lights are on 24/7. But obviously during the day they get quite busy with people. So shooting late at night or really early in the morning, you get the corridors pretty much empty. And then you can do fun stuff like this, where you've got one model in the background vanishing into the distance, and then two models on the right-hand side here. And you've got this row of columns vanishing into the distance, and it just makes for a really pleasing image. So these two, this is Emmy on the right and then Gabrielle on the left. They're Italian cosplay models. They don't really do the traditional Venetian costume style. I think they're cosplayers, so they always come to the carnival every year with the most outrageous costumes. And they're a fun couple to shoot. And so yeah, this year they normally come with 3 or 4 costumes. So this year one of the costumes was obviously Lara Croft and what's his name? What's his name from the movie? I've lost it.
Yeah, I've lost that too.
Indiana Jones. There we go. Again, shot in the corridors with the lights on, and it's just another good image to shoot.
Okay, let's move to another image.
Do close-ups. You don't always do the whole shoot. Don't always just do a full shot. Do 3/4, and then always see the details, because I like to see the details. So I was standing talking to them, and then the light comes in from behind her, so it gives a nice bit of edge light on the bum area. So it just makes for a pleasing image.
Hey Tim, we've got a question that just came in from Michael.
My
Regan.
favorite. Yeah, Michael, for my favorite capture. What and why? Oh golly, they're a dime a dozen. But I'll tell you one. I'm sure it'll come up in the feed, and then I'll come back to it. But there is one that I took this year that is ranked probably within my top 5, and I'm sure James will bring it up later on, and I'll mention it. Okay, so this one is another one of the little cloisters. It's in a kind of a churchyard, and so within these cloisters, you've got on the right-hand side where the light is, you've got an inner courtyard, and then on the left-hand side, you've got a brick wall. So you're kind of walking in a corridor that goes in a square. So you've got beautiful light coming through from the right-hand side, and then it vanishes, as you can see, to the darkness on the left-hand side. So while we were there, these are 2 models from the Netherlands. And I was shooting her as she is there, the lady in the front here. I was shooting her And then while I was shooting her, the lady in the back, which is obviously her friend, she was just walking through towards the back. And in that instant, the image just came back because I was shooting her, which was a great image. But then when she walked to the back, the image just went up 100%. And I asked her to stand for me right where she is there, and then that's how I captured that image. Again, happy accident if you want to call it that. And it's quite a pleasing image because you've got the light from the right hand side, and then it fades off to darkness. You've got a nice contrast between the light and the dark, and that's always good in an image.
Yeah, that's serendipity. I thought you had planned it that way, but that's perfect timing.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I was shooting her, and it was a happy accident that she walked in the background. So again, at San Marco Square, we've got this corridor down here, and this is quite a popular spot to shoot because you've got the circles and the detail down on the floor. So moving slightly to the left, and then me shooting from the complete right-hand side of the corridor, you've got this beautiful vanishing point to the right-hand side, which is quite nice. The only thing is I've got those stupid railings in the back. And yeah, I could have taken them out in Photoshop, but I guess I was just a bit lazy. But it's still a nice image.
No, it is very nice. And actually, the railings are there, but pretty much the way you've lit this, the attention goes to the model, to her face and the dress.
Okay, so here's the image that Michael asked me, which is my favorite image. So this will be it. So this I took this year. So this is I actually can't even remember. And even if I did remember, I wouldn't tell you. This is in a nice little spot that it's got this yellow wall in the background, and then at the back is an entrance foyer with the light streaming from the top. And somebody else had taken a picture here, and I absolutely fell over backwards when I saw the image, and I needed to know where it was. But I wasn't going to ask him. He probably would tell me, but I didn't want to ask him. But I spent a lot of time researching on Instagram and on the internet and that kind of stuff. So eventually I found it. And as it turns out, the model and her husband actually knew where it was. So when I said we were going there, they knew about the place. So yeah, whether I maybe would have found the place on my own or not, I don't know. But with their help, we managed to get this location. And this is truly a fantastic location just because of the pillars in the foreground, the pillars in the background, and then the kind of backlighting from the back entrance foyer. And it's just such a pleasing image. And, translated to the actual online screen, it doesn't look great. But trust me, the colors it's a vibrant, deep yellow. It's beautiful. And the lighting is spectacular. So this I'm going to print on a massive 20 by 30 or a 80 by 60 or something. This is going to look great on the wall.
Yeah, that would be a fabulous image to print. That's really beautiful with all the leading lines coming down in, like you said, the colors, with the warm colors and then the red. We've got a friend of yours just popped up.
Yeah, that's Colin. Colin, I've seen Colin's work, but I've never really met him. I think he also goes to the Venice Carnival every year. There's a couple of groups we belong to, and his pictures always popping in there. So, yeah, Colin, if I was standing next to you, hit me on the shoulder next time.
Yeah.
I can meet you.
There you go.
But the other nice thing I like about that image, the previous image, was the contrast between the yellow and the red. It's just sets it off so amazingly. And then you got the little pigeon on the bottom there, which I figured I was going to maybe take out, but I figured no, I'll leave him in there. It just adds to the image.
Adds a little element there.
Yeah, so that'll definitely be up in my top 5 of all the images I've taken at the carnival.
Nice.
So these were the dragons, as I like to call them. It's a family, a family of 5. This was their first carnival. They are friends with another French photographer, Paul Lutz, and we got invited to come and shoot them in one of the cloisters in the afternoon. And yeah, trust me, the detail on those costumes are absolutely stupendous. All the detail on the headdress are all done with those plastic printers, 3D printers, and the detail is phenomenal. So yeah, we had a great time shooting them.
Yeah, I was wondering where they get most of their costumes. I knew they probably made most of them.
Yeah, a lot of these guys they make their own costumes. A lot of them use kind of recycled material or bits and pieces that they find from places. They have a kind of a concept in their mind, and then they translate it into their masterpieces that they present to us at the carnival. Um, yeah, so generally what they'll do is as soon as they head back home after the carnival, they've already got plans for the next dress, and they'll almost immediately start working on the dress for the next year.
Yeah.
So this is Monello. She's a court jester. Um, one of my favorite friends at the carnival. She always dresses in a court jester outfit. Just the colors vary and subtle changes. Um, so she was in one of the cloisters when we went there with another model. So I normally shoot with a group of three other ladies. So while they were shooting with the models that we brought, I snuck off and shot Monello again with the columns, and her sticking out of the columns, and you get the columns compacting towards the back end, which makes for another great image.
Yeah.
And her being right in your face is another great picture too. So this is little Moretta. She also dresses up in a kind of a court jester outfit, but her outfits change every year. She never really got the same kind of outfit. And the nice thing I like about the different cloisters that you can get into is they're all different. So when we went into this one here, you've got the detail on the wall at the back there. So while we were shooting from the opposite side, back towards her, I placed her pretty much in the center of the two columns. But because she's off center on the back, it makes for a very interesting picture for me. So you've got symmetry with the two pillars, but not with the background. So there's a kind of a conflict of interest there if you want. But her wearing red, she takes center stage, obviously. So the background and the foreground is kind of really nicely pleasing to the eye, and it fits in really nicely with the old framing. So
Yeah,
another one
the
of my favorites.
red pops her out.
And particularly with Moretta, she normally wears really colored contact lenses. So for this one, she had red contact lenses, and it just really stood out on her mask.
Yeah.
Oh, we lost audio at the gym.
Was that?
No, we're back. Okay.
Yeah.
So again, at Marco Square, we got that same corridor.
If I give up.
And this is Lily Wagner. She's a German model, and she wore all white this year. And when I saw her in this corridor early morning, you can't help but not want to shoot her there. And it's just killer shots we got from her there. So this is Kerr. So Kerr is a group of five or six models from the Baltic region. And again, shot in one of the corridors in San Marco Square. And this was early morning. And the light it was probably about, I'm guessing about 8:30 in the morning. So as you can see, it's quite nice and golden brown in the background. And so we had met up with the Yarra in the corridor, and while we were shooting, I said to just come hang on to the left-hand side of the columns here. And so I placed on the extreme left so I could actually focus in on the back end of the corridor with the light coming in. And again, with the red and the golden yellow, it's just beautiful.
It sure is.
So this was I can't remember her name. It starts with a C, Contessa something, or I can't remember. But this is my very first year that I went to the carnival. I had no idea what to expect. I was out of my element completely. Um, and I was just shooting away, and suddenly this lady appears with this outfit, and I thought, what the hell? And of course, the photographers see this kind of outfit, and they just drop whatever they're doing, and they rush to her to photograph her. And yeah, she was quite an interesting model to photograph because of her outfit. You know, those wings are quite big; they stick out a fair bit. So, you know, when she walks, she's got to walk very carefully. And with the crowd that flocked towards her, yeah, it was a bit of a. I think she had a bit of a problem maybe at some time during the course of the days that she was there with her outfit. But again, just another great outfit, and just shows you the lengths that these models go to make these outfits. I mean, those are fantastic. And the headrest that she's wearing probably weighs a ton, and you know the wings can't be that good. I mean, the wings can't be that light. So
Yeah.
and they walk around in this all day. It's crazy how they do it.
Does she have someone that walks around with her to help her with the costume?
Yeah, she's probably got a friend or two that's around with her. I wouldn't think you'd walk around like this on your own.
Yeah.
So they've normally got friends that hang around with them. You know, maybe another model as a friend, or they have a better half, a husband or a boyfriend or whatever.
Yeah.
The funny thing is about the models is you see them as you see them. We very rarely get to see their faces, but you don't really know if it's a guy or a girl behind the costume. So even though it's a female's dress, it could very well be a guy in that dress,
Yeah.
because there's some guys that enjoy doing this, and they just get up in female outfits and off they walk, but it's a guy. So you never really know what they look like. So there, shot with a wide angle on the San Marco Square front, with St. Giorgio in the background. This is kind of your very cliched kind of landscape picture. If you're a landscape photographer, this is the one picture you want to get with all the gondolas in the foreground. So in the mornings, the models start arriving in this area from about 6 o'clock in the morning. You know, waiting for sunrise, which will come from the left-hand side of the screen there. So you've got tons of models that'll be landing up pretty much where she's standing, and then you can get some beautiful shots of them with the sun rising behind them. So she was there one morning. Obviously, no sunshine, but the clouds are still quite dramatic. And yeah, with a wide angle, that just accentuates the vastness of where you are and her wings.
Yeah, that's a pretty dramatic shot.
Yeah, and a wide angle will do that. If you shoot that same model with a 24-70 or a 135 or something, you're not going to nearly get that, obviously. So you've got to choose your lenses carefully. And if you see something like that, you quickly change the lens to suit that model.
Yeah.
So yeah, we got Sophia, shot during sunrise. So this is your typical sunrise that you get in Venice. You almost always get a sunrise like this in Venice, almost every morning. Very rarely do we not get a sunrise like that. So yeah, lined up, you'll have them all the way down the side. You'll just have models for Africa. So yeah, shooting down there then during the day, in the morning, can be quite problematic because you can't move too much, because you might have two models on either side of her down the drag. So you can't really do something like this with two other models on either side of her. So the mornings can be problematic with the number of people that are down there. So what we tend to do is pull them away from the crowd, move them down the way a little bit, away from the main kind of drag where people shoot, and then you can get something like this. But if you shoot them any other place, you're not going to get this kind of shot. Thanks, Kathy. So, and a lot of the models will have a theme to their outfits. Now, Sophia, the picture on her chest relates to an artist of some sort, but my wife will know, but I have no idea what it is. She told me later on who it was. And obviously her headdress is always elaborate, so yeah, the headdress is quite heavy. And she walks around all day like that with a smile on her face. She loves it. She absolutely loves doing this kind of thing.
I bet she
so
does, yeah.
Oh yeah, no, well, all of them do.
Yeah.
But some maybe a little bit more than others. She. So this is two guys. Um, uh, One is German and one is from Spain. Also, my first year that I shot, and I took a picture of them, not knowing who they were, not knowing what I was doing, really just trying to find my way in there. And when I got back to Venice, then so what happens when you shoot the models? They give you a business card, and all they want from you is to get the pictures from you. They get all the trouble and effort to make these elaborate outfits. All they want is for you to send them the pictures. So that's the kind of trade-off you have with a model. You don't pay them; they don't want payment. They just want the pictures. That's the kind of deal we have. So I sent them the pictures, and they loved it. So subsequently, this picture is framed in their house as probably a 30 by 60-ish. So as you walk into the house, this is what greets you, and that, as a photographer, that means a hell of a lot.
Sure it
It
does.
just means that they really like your pictures. And what happens now is you build relationships with these guys, so that when you meet up next year, they know who you are, they know who your work, they know what your work is, and they want to shoot with you, and that's a nice thing to have. The fact that they want to shoot with you, and then they make an appointment, and off you go, and you go make some more images, and friendships then blossom. And we talk regularly on WhatsApp and things like that. He can't speak a word of Duluc is his name. He's the one from Spain. He can't speak a word of English. So his partner is from Germany. So we normally talk through him, or you use the translator. So whenever we communicate on WhatsApp, it's always you got to translate the sentence first and then post it to him, so he knows what you're talking about.
Yeah. Well, you've got somebody here that said they love the one with the wings.
Yeah, that's Mr. Ken Cox. He's a local shooter here in Port Stewart. So I see him from time to time.
Let's go to another image.
Right, so this is or Elise. His real name is Vadim. And as you can see, I'm actually got him on a t-shirt. I do t-shirts too. He was another one of my first models that I shot in my first year in Venice. And just a great guy, He doesn't speak much English, but you can communicate. And just early morning, but no sunrise. And went 3/4 and profiled him up nicely with the light on the left-hand side and him slightly off center and looking directly at me. Another pretty nice image.
Yeah, I think I really like that image. I like the way you framed it with the background and the position of the model.
Yeah, it's great. It's not hard to find a pleasing background in Venice.
Oh, I bet.
It's hard to find a background. A lot of the backgrounds look very similar, so it's always hard to find a different background. So, yeah, we're back to little Kerr. So she had this little outfit. They normally come with like 2 or 3 outfits. And this is one of my other favorites out of my collection. It's a stupendous outfit. This little green dragon just blew my mind. So she's really good with posing. She will play to the camera. And because she plays to the camera, you're going to get really good images. I can't tell them what to do because I don't know them. So you can try and direct them a little bit, but if they know what they're doing and they play to you, you can get some really great images. So again, this was early morning. You've got blue hour coming through there. The lights, you can see the lights are off in the background, so the lights go off at about 7 o'clock. And then just a bit of flash and off you go.
Now, you're using off-camera flash?
I'm using off-camera flash. A lot of guys will just use a flash on the camera, which in these kind of scenarios is not a bad thing. Everyone always says, "Yeah, take the camera off the flash." I take the flash off the camera and put it to one side. But in Venice, that's really hard to do. And the reason it's hard to do is what you don't see. People see this image and they think, "Oh, what a beautiful image," which it is. But what you don't see is behind me, I've got 20 other photographers that are pushing and shoving, not maybe shoving, but pushing and jostling for position to get a similar kind of shot. So it's really hard to be super creative with what's going on in the background and positioning and things like that.
Sure.
So what I normally do is I put my camera on a tripod, which is a bit more sturdy, and I just stick it to one side, and then I don't have to worry about it, and then I can shoot away from any angle. It has its issues, but it's not too bad. So yeah, I shoot mostly off camera flash in the mornings.
Yeah.
So this is way past sunrise. During the course of the day, we had a bit of an overcast day. And these three ladies are collectively known as the Rose Sisters. On your left you have Mona, in the middle you have Annette, and on the right you have Ines. They're all from Germany, and they've been doing this for many, many years. So their outfits are always, without fail, probably one of the most flamboyant outfits as a group in Venice. And if you see the crowd they put, you'll understand why. Because when these ladies come out, photographers run to try and capture them. Because they truly are flamboyant, beautiful ladies, and their outfits are absolutely to die for. So a lot of their outfits are done from recycled materials. So almost all the stuff they do is always recycled material. And yeah, their creativity for their outfits knows pretty much no bounds. So yeah, it's great to shoot them.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah, they're spectacular. So one of the things I always want in Venice as a photographer is the mist, because shooting in Venice with mist is just beautiful. I can't describe it to you. It's a thick mist sometimes, and it just gives Venice a completely different atmosphere. Something that I can maybe just kind of compare to what I get at the Dark Ages from time to time, but times by 10 probably. So the model there is named Swart. She's from France, and her husband is somewhere in the background there. So I had arranged to meet her at 6:30 in the morning, or 6 o'clock, to get this particular shot. Not knowing whether there was going to be fog or not. You deal with that on the day. So this is the image that I had envisaged that I wanted to shoot with her as a start. And then when we woke up in the morning, we had mist. So that just added 10 times to the actual effect of the image. The only problem you can encounter shooting this kind of image is that early morning you've got a lot of your boats coming in to deliver goods. So I was very fortunate that there was only one boat there that morning. But it kind of adds to the image because it's Venice, everything operates by boats there. So to maybe not have a boat in the image would be not as nice, maybe.
True.
But yeah, the image came together really nicely. And then from there we went across the Rialto Bridge. Sorry, yeah, that's the Rialto Bridge. We crossed the Rialto Bridge and we did some more shooting in the far back corner there. But yeah, just another nice image again that came together.
Yeah, that's the boat being in there just adds to it. Without it, it would still be a beautiful image, but it sort of tells a story.
Yeah, and then if you look in the background, you'll see there's a bit of a light streak there. So, my shutter speed is probably on the lower range. I'm probably thinking maybe about a second or so to bring in all that ambient light, and then just pop a bit of flash on the right hand side to bring her out. So that little bit of streak of light just adds another element of a bit of motion on the river, or the canal rather.
Well, Jay likes that one.
Yeah, Jay. Again, so the same model, but on the far back side, by the fish market. So this is a little bridge that goes actually behind her is an entrance to a restaurant. And I'd come across this image of the lights and the little bridge while browsing the internet and Instagram and things like that. And I just thought that would be a perfect place to put a model. Again, one of those locations that I have not seen another model being shot at. Maybe I've missed it, but I haven't seen another model being shot right there. So for me, that image stands out as a very individualized image for the model. Um, and yes, it's one that stands out from the masses of images that you can find of the carnival. So
This-
this is Paolo. So this is Paolo. His costumes are one of those that people run to and have to photograph. His theme of costume is normally very similar in terms of the design of the headdress and the outfit, and etc. But the colors vary and the theme varies slightly. But yeah, sometimes it's not always easy to shoot him on his own because of the levels and the numbers of photographers around you and that kind of thing. So it does become problematic to isolate him from the background and the general environment. So when I get situations like that where I can't get him on his own, I just go for the killer shot and just fill the frame. And yeah, just it's another great image that is different from many others. And he's got his star that's covering the one eye. So slightly standing on my toes, I've managed to get his eye just above the bit of the feather there.
I see that. Does he have a red contact in also? It looks like his.
He normally wears red contacts every year, I think. But they may vary slightly, obviously. But this year he had red.
Yeah, that's
last year.
a pretty intricate costume.
And that headdress will weigh about 6 kilos at least, I'm guessing. So this is this year. This will be Mona again. They had an Indian theme to their costume, and again, just a beautiful theme to their costumes. So this was shot in a glass factory in Murano. A spectacular place to shoot because you've got all these crystal chandeliers, not crystal but glass blown in the factory there, that they've made into these beautiful, elaborate, exquisite light pieces that are so delicate that I wouldn't like to bump it. So we had her and her sister in there, and this picture was inspired by another photographer we were shooting with, Jason. He came up with this concept to shoot her in the doorway there. On either side, you'll see the doorway on either side of her, and that's the one thing I love about shooting with some other photographers sometimes, because you can't see everything. You know, you've got your vision and he's got his vision, and then you're always stealing ideas from somebody else. And I just love what he had seen in this image. So this was shot with a long lens, 200, to compress the background slightly and bring the lights to seemingly bring the light closer, and just blur it enough to make it interesting and to separate her from the background. And yeah, just another great image. So yeah, we didn't use flash; we just used continuous lighting. I've got an LED on the right hand side popping her, just to give a bit of light. So yeah, that's the glass factory.
Yeah, I think the lighting is really nice on the model, and I figured that you were using a little longer lens because of the compression in the background there.
Yeah, absolutely. If you look in the gallery that I gave you, there'll be a shot of the three of them in red. You can bring that up a little bit later on.
Okay.
So this is her moving right back now against the railing there. And so what I like about this image is she's very close to the central light that's in the center there. But in the foreground, which is by the door where we were shooting her earlier, is this other light. So because we focused on her, the front light is completely out of focus and it just looks really beautiful compared with her. So you've got almost a three-dimensional image there with the model in focus, but in the foreground and the background, it's all out of focus. So you've got such a nice depth to this image that I really like. And this is the image that I saw when I first went in. This is the one that I wanted to shoot. So almost the same place, you can get two very different images. Just by moving her forward to where Jason put her, you get a completely different image again.
Yeah. I love
So
this
here we
one.
go. So this was last year. those lights, they can change color to whatever. So this was the three sisters. They were shot there, and we changed the lights to red. The only thing is, you can't. It's hard to put them all like in the center and get a really good shot like this. So this was a bit of a off-center type shot to get the three of them in there. But again, just another great shot. So what we had to do here is what we did to get this image was we shot a base plate, which is the background, obviously. All shooting on tripods. So we shot the base plate, and then we had to light them individually because we just didn't have enough LEDs at that stage to light all of them at the same time. Thanks, Kathy. So we had to light them each individually, and then just in Photoshop drop all 4 images in together, and then you just paint each individual sister in, and you've got your end image. But these were just shot with the little lume cubes.
Yeah.
And all you want was a bit of light. So we had 3 lume cubes on the floor to light the dress, and then we had only 1 for the individual faces. So they each had to hold the light in their hand that you can't really see to light their faces.
Okay.
And that's pretty much how we got there. The only thing, looking back at this picture now, in hindsight, I've just noticed we never had the main light on as well. I think this image would have been a lot nicer if we had the center lights on as well. But it's not something we even noticed on the day. I don't know why, but we just didn't. But it's still a nice image. And this is printed over there. It's a nice big image.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Let's move on to another one.
So this is my Spanish and German model again. This was shot last year. So this is inside one of the hotels. So this is collectively known as Casa Sagrado. I hope I'm saying it right. Yeah, they're collectively known. A lot of the hotels, Frankie hotels, are known as palaces, because maybe that's what they were back in the day. So you've got the staircase here. That's a fantastic place to shoot. The light inside is beautiful. The background is beautiful. You've got this grand staircase. The only problem with this location is you can't just walk in and shoot here because they won't let you in. They charge upwards of €1,200 to shoot in the hotel. So generally, nobody really shoots there unless you know somebody in there that'll allow you to come in, or you've got a photography workshop that have paid money to go and shoot there. So it's quite pricey to shoot there. So, and I really wanted to shoot there. It's one of the locations I've always wanted to go to. And every time I've gone, I've just walked in looking very scruffy, and they just said no. So last year, I wrote the PR department a letter. I said, listen, here's the deal. All I want is 1 hour just to shoot 2 models there. It's just me, not a commercial thing. I just want to shoot. Just, can you help me? Expecting 0 answer. And literally the morning, just a random morning, not even, okay, you can come shoot tomorrow. So literally just on the morning, I got an email from the lady, and she said 11 o'clock. So here's me just about to jump on a water bus to go shoot something else, and I've got to drop everything and say, listen, I quit now. But fortunately, I'm not letting down any other model because I've got my 3 other that I shoot with, and they would. It's not a real major problem. And I messaged him and I said, listen, whatever you're doing, you need to come to the hotel right now. Be there by 11 o'clock. And we got there, shot away, and we were initially just going to shoot on the stairs there. And then she said, okay, I can go up the stairs. There's a beautiful foyer at the top there. Not foyer, a beautiful room at the top there that she said I can shoot in as well. So from having zero chance of shooting there, just sending an email to the lady and saying, listen, here's what I want to do. Can you help me? And she very kindly said, yeah. So that's how that picture happened. It's not something that's going to happen every time. It was just a chance I took and it happened.
That's beautiful.
And you know, a lot of people do the workshops because everything is organized for them. So doing a workshop with somebody at the carnival is maybe a great way to start, or maybe just a once-off, because they in with all the locations. You know, they've obviously paid to go to those locations, so you can shoot those locations as opposed to just wandering the streets. So for those that maybe are something you want to do, you need to look at maybe doing a workshop with somebody.
Yeah.
So this
Now,
image inside
is this image is this in an opera house?
This is in the Venice Opera House. So they've got this most beautiful ceiling, and they've got the balconies going 95% around the opera house. And so there's a couple of great spots you can shoot in the opera house. This is one of them that I like because you're shooting the balconies, and then the other shot is pretty much lying on the floor, and they're leaning right over you, and then you're framing them kind of in the middle of the ceiling, the head, that is, their head in the middle of the ceiling, and then shooting with a wide angle, 11 or a 14 millimeter, so you can get as much of the ceiling and the balcony in. You can get a very beautiful shot looking straight up at them with the ceiling in the background, and that's a fantastic shot. I just really like this one as well.
Yeah, I like that type of wide angle shot.
I think I chose this one because I love the way the green sets off on the background.
Yeah.
So this is probably one of the nicest outfits for this year that I had seen. You know, you don't see all the models obviously because there's too many of them. From the ones that I had seen, this for me was one of the nicest outfits as a couple. So this is Gaella and her boyfriend, I think, Lulu. And they had this beautiful outfit that was this beautiful, rich, creamy color. And they had the violins with all the stuff going around it. And we had found this other little location by chance, just walking past something, and you stick your head in there. And that's how you find a lot of locations in Venice. You walk, and then you stick your head down a corner or through a window or something, and you find these fantastic little hiding places that not many people know about or have never found. So we took them in there and, you know, put him in the background against the window and bring him more forward so he's a bit blurry and the focus will be on her. You know, the green shrubs makes for another fantastic image again.
It's fabulous. Let's move to the next image.
Okay, so yeah, we've got one of the big cathedrals. We collectively call it Salute. There is a proper name for it, but we just call it. Is it Salute? I think it is. And it's got these beautiful doors with stairs that never seem to end. And this is another stunning location to shoot models with. This massive big background. So what we like to shoot here, or what I like to shoot here, is make the model small so that the emphasis is not maybe so much on them, but the grand background, because it's such a beautiful place. And then put them on the stairs, and then you can shoot your art content. So this were 3 guys that I shot together as a group. And yeah, it just makes the location is really what makes this image so grand.
Yeah.
Those doors are really massive. Again, this is here Schmidt. He's a German model. He does a lot of kind of wartime stuff back home. But he had this outfit this year. And we were just kind of walking and shooting. No real agenda of where we're going. Sometimes you just meet a model and you just, you know, walk. And you find locations as you go along. And I'd known about this place. And what I liked about this was the background. And I knew I wanted the background blurry, like it is there. And him in the foreground in focus. But to get that shot, I needed to jump over a no entrance barricade thing. And I wasn't going to do that just on my own. I could have taken a chance, I suppose, but I didn't want to do that. I went inside and I asked the guy, listen, can I just do that? And he said, no, forget it. I have to pay, like 12 euros or something. I said, listen, please, 2 seconds, I would take 2 minutes. I only take one picture. Only one picture. That's all I want is one picture. And either he liked the beard or I just asked him really nicely, I don't know, but he said, yes, one picture. And jumped over the little barrier, and I literally just took one picture. It's all I wanted. It's all I needed. You don't have to take 4 or 5 or 6 or 7 pictures. That's the picture you want. Take it, off you go. And I said thanks, and off I went.
Yeah.
Then, funny enough, the following day or the subsequent days afterwards, I went back there with another model. I got thrown out because it's private property. So it really just depends on who's on the front desk, whether you're going to get thrown out or they let you go in. But
Okay, let's move to the next picture.
okay, so yeah, we got. Oh golly, the guy's going to kill me for not remembering her name. Solange. So she's a grand old lady with always brilliant outfits, and she's also one of the models that a lot of people like to shoot. And I had an appointment with her the one day to go walking around and shoot a little bit. And I met up with another photographer friend of mine, Renee, and we were shooting together. And while we were shooting, she had to leave. She had to leave to go shoot somebody else. So it was just left with her and I. And then what happened was she sent me a text and said, listen, this location's got backlighting. Because when we started off in this location, there was no backlighting, as you can see from behind her. So the image was okay. So she sent me a message saying, listen, I need to go back there because we've got the sun coming through. And as a result, you've got that stunning image now with beautifully backlit model that is a nice bit of separation between her and the background. And again, it's just another fantastic image. Her leaning up against the corner of the building there, and you've got the wrought iron balustrading going across the bridge. Makes for another great image.
Yeah, it has that leading line bringing down right to the model, and that's pretty cool. That
and again,
it's cool that she texts you to tell you that there's a lighting situation for you to take advantage of.
That's one of the nice things I've built up over the 4 years that I've been. I've met some really nice photographers, and they're friends now. Every year you look forward to not just shooting the models, but catching up with the photographers and having a chat with them. And then, when they know you're shooting and they know you're close by or whatever, they'll sometimes do this. I'll just say, listen, the light's really nice now. If you've got a model, go there. And that's what happened, yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So this is Steffi. She's a German model. Again, one of the little bridges that have got this beautiful ornate wrought iron. Thanks, memory. These beautiful ornate wrought iron balustradings going over the bridges. So initially, I shot her from another bridge on the opposite side with the 200, but on the left-hand side of the image, there's a giant, big, white advertisement board, obviously boarding up something. So it's an extremely terrible distraction. So I came close, still with the 200, came closer to her, and shot it from more angle, and that's the result of that image. So what a lot of photographers maybe don't always do is they just bang on one kind of angle, and they don't move from that angle. They just shoot that same angle. All you have to do is move 5 steps to the left or 5 steps to the right, and you're going to get a different image. And maybe take out the distraction that was there. So by me moving forward and to the left-hand side, I got this image.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of people just shoot at one angle and miss out on a lot of things.
Yeah, especially in Venice, you need to be on the lookout of your environment the whole time, because there's so many little alleyways and so many little nooks and crannies that you can shoot a model in that will look so different from what everyone else is shooting. And also your composition is very important in Venice. Is if you don't do a great composition, your image is going to look just mediocre. So I'm always looking for backgrounds and just trying to get the composition right. Sometimes I fail, we all do, but and I still get it wrong, but I always try and get the composition bang on so it makes for a pleasing image.
Yeah.
So here we go to the island of Burano. Probably one of my favorite places to shoot because every house is painted a different color. And with the dresses that these models wear, you can your infinite possibilities are there. Just walking, there's so many models that come on any given day, but they've normally got one day that a lot of the models will go to in Burano. So it's normally on a Tuesday, I think. So a lot of the models know Tuesday is Burano day, and a lot of them will go there. Not everyone, but a lot of them. And then you can just pick and choose who you want to shoot where, really. There's just, you grab a model, and you say, come with me, or you ask them to come with you, and you find a color that'll either be completely opposite to what she's wearing, or they're wearing, or something that'll be the same color. And then you can just shoot away. It's great fun. And sometimes you can do what I've done here is put two different colors together. So you've got three different colors there now. So yeah, Burano is a great place to shoot. I love going there.
Yeah, the color palette on this one is fabulous. I love the different tones.
Yeah, Burano is crazy. See, again, green and green. Okay, the dressing them may be green, but it's close enough color to green. So by putting her just to the kind of right-hand side of the white window there, or the window frame rather, makes for another pleasing image. You can argue that you could have put the model more to the right-hand side, because that'll be a chimney coming out of the building there. So you could have shot him or her maybe more to the right-hand side. But remember earlier on I said to you, you're not always able to move, or you're not maybe able to move the model because there's 10 other photographers shooting the same picture. So you can't always ask them to move. So maybe if there was a chance I could have moved it, I maybe would have. But yeah, you got to shoot with what you have. You can't always move the model to where you want them to be.
Right.
So you just go with what you have and shoot away.
Yeah.
But again, the colors just look really nice with the background.
Yeah, they do.
So yeah, here we got some bronzy and blue colors against the blue wall. This is Cindy. She's part of the American group. There's normally an American contingent of models that come through. A lot of them don't stay in America. A lot of them stay in the UK. So Cindy is in the UK mainland. So yeah, her color palette was a more bronzy color this year. So shoot that against a greenish turquoisey type color, and you've got that result. And then you go up really close. And you fill the frame with her face and the umbrella, and it makes for a great image.
Yeah, you can see catchlight in her eyes too in this one.
Yeah. So the other thing about shooting in Venice is a lot of the times is you're just shooting natural light. A lot of the guys will use a bit of full flash just to pop the eyes a little bit. But because I don't take my flash with me that pops on top of the camera. Most of the day it's just shot with natural light or an LED. So yeah, Burano is almost always just shot with natural light.
Yeah.
But yeah, a bit of full flash can never hurt, just to emphasize the eyes a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Again, yeah, they don't always have to be standing. You ask them to do fun things, and they're normally happy to comply. So yeah, we got a kind of bluish greenish outfit against a yellow wall, with a hint of green in their outfit. You just ask them to stand on one leg. Sometimes they just do their own thing, and so you've got another fun picture that's not just standing model, there's a bit more gesture, as they say, in this image.
Yeah.
So it gives it that element of fun with a bright color. So it's a very fun image to have. So this is a mother and daughter. She's only 15, the one on the right, Rebecca. She's 15, if you believe it. This is her first time. I think it's her mom's first time as well. So just trying to get a color palette that'll suit their dresses, or not for that matter. And so we're on the opposite side of the canal from them. Veronia's got very small canals. They don't have big canals. So their canals are very narrow. So you just have to run down the road a couple of meters and jump over a bridge and you're on the other side. So you can shoot them from a distance with a bit of a longer lens. And you don't always have to have a pristine, beautiful, perfectly shaped background. The degrading building on the left-hand side adds to the image, I think, because it's kind of looks out of place. Another great little place.
So now, did you say you had to take a water taxi over to this place?
Oh yeah, so from Venice you grab the water taxi, and it's a short ride over to Verona. It probably takes about 40 minutes or so to get you from Venice mainland to Verona. Again, it depends what taxi you take. If you take the taxi that goes direct, it's about 40 minutes. But you can get other water taxis that'll stop at every stop. So we normally go really early in the morning. We normally catch like the 7 o'clock taxi, and that's normally a direct taxi, which is great because then you get there before everyone else gets there. And you normally take 1 or 2 models with you, so you can start shooting when you get there.
Uh-huh.
It's a short water taxi ride that'll get you there. Fairly straightforward.
Okay, I'm going to jump forward a little bit to an
Okay.
image that I had my eye on. Let's see here. This one. Oops, wrong way. There we go.
Right. So that's Blue, BLUE, I think. Her real name is Sandra. She's a beautiful, beautiful model. She's just this beautiful lady that is game for anything. She's happy to go along with you to take pictures. So where we're shooting from is the island of San Giorgio, which is just across the road from Venice. That's Venice in the background. So that's a one-stop water taxi ride. So in the evenings, every evening on the Venice Carnival, models will take the taxi across to San Giorgio, so you can shoot from San Giorgio back towards the setting sun and the lights of Venice. And again, it's one of those situations where there's almost too many models to shoot because they're so close together, so it's hard to get separation between the model next to them. So you're very limited to how you can shoot on San Giorgio, and every year it seems to be getting exponentially busier on the island. But great place to shoot because you've got the beautiful background. So that's dusk time. The sun has just set now, so you've still got that beautiful kaleidoscope of colors. And she's just sitting down. She's actually being photographed by another photographer who's asked her to go there. So he's shooting her with I think just natural light. I don't know why, but I just popped on the LED when it was finished. And that's the result you get. Beautiful ambient light in the background and just a bit of light to light her. And it makes for a stunning image.
Yeah, I think the amount of light that you brought in here balances it really well with the ambient from the background. I don't know how it would look without that LED shining on there, but this is one of my favorite images.
She'll be too dark unless then you got to push the ISO really high to get light in her eyes and her face, and it'll probably be a nice image. But I think just a kiss of light. That's all you want, just to bring out the eyes and the face, and you've got this beautiful foreground with the beautiful background. It makes for just a very pleasing image. And she's on the left hand side of the frame and looking out towards the right hand side of the frame.
Yeah.
So everything seems to be really nicely balanced in the image as a whole. She's got a nice pose. So there's not, I don't think, much wrong with that image.
None at all. None at all. Well,
so,
I think that's.
Those are kind of from Georgia.
I think let's jump back here, and I really appreciate you taking the time to go through these, Tim. And these images are fabulous. We posted some of your social medias in the comments, and also I know you've done some coffee table books, and we posted a link out there to that, along with your travel blog. So those of you watching, if you can join Tim's social medias, I think we'll be putting your Instagram, your YouTube channel, which has some behind the scenes videos. So everybody can
do yourself a favor and go and watch the YouTube video that Jim will link up. You'll actually grasp the craziness of what Venice Carnival is like when you go there as a photographer, because what the general public see are those beautiful images, but you don't know what it takes to get that image. There's a lot of jostling and a lot of mushing around to find your spot. So go and watch the video. It's about 14 minutes, but it's enjoyable, I think. It'll give you more of a sense of.
I remember when you first posted those, I looked at those, and it was pretty amazing the number of people that were around there. Obviously, it's a big draw.
It's nuts. And the number of photographers that seem to go there every year seem to be getting exponentially more. Because every the mornings seem to be more busier than the previous year. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's good fun.
Well, again, Tim, I really appreciate your time. Hope everybody enjoyed this. I'm sure they did. We got some pretty good comments. This will be still recorded out on Facebook, so in case somebody you know didn't see it, you could send the link to them. Everybody be sure that you follow Tim on his social media. And that's it. So next week, tentatively, Tim, we're scheduling Jay from Taiwan. I still see Jay. I think he's still on. He's 12 hours difference from us right now, so I'm sure he's a bit tired.
That's okay. You'll just have to suck it up and do it.
Yeah, exactly.
Suck it up and do it.
Okay, so we'll let you go.
Yeah, no,
and
thanks very much for those that watched. It's always nice to talk about the images and give a bit of insight into what it's like to shoot the carnival. Maybe it'll inspire you to want to go to Venice and shoot the carnival. If not, just go and visit Venice as a whole anyway. It's still a beautiful city as a landscape photographer. Just don't want to be a landscape photographer during the Venice Carnival. It's a bit of a problem.
Well, it's inspired me, so I'm not sure if I'll be able to do it this next year. We've got a trip planned to Alaska again, but maybe the following year, and then sometime between now and then, I'm going to hit you up about a Northern Ireland trip.
Yeah, no worries. Hit me up.
You and Sam take care, and we'll be in touch.
We will, I'm sure. She's listening, I think. So thanks everyone for watching, and go to Vegas. Go and have fun.
Take care now.
Cheers, guys. See you later. Oh, we'll go for